Well, there's wild quarterback takes, and then there's Mike Florio quarterback takes. In the latest episode of NBC Sports Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio was talking about what Art Rooney had to say earlier this week about the Steelers and bringing back at least one of Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. And his response was a little telling and a little interesting. Said, quote, "I think the guy's going to be a backup too. I think that's the reality. They're going to look for a starter elsewhere. They want to keep one of the other two to be the number two. That's my guess." So is Russell Wilson or Justin Fields just re-signing with Pittsburgh to hold a clipboard?
I mean, not according to Art Rooney, not according to Mike Tomlin, not according to Russell Wilson. Justin hasn't addressed it. Seems like a lot of that's not going to happen. And then there's Mike Florio, which is just go look up Bill Belichick slams Mike Florio and, you'll have a good time there. No, the answer is no here. And it's like the simplest no of all time. This is actually, it's not even a conversation to be had. It's just how wild this take is. This supposed insight that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go, who are they getting? Who's the option above Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? And what are you signing them to? Like, you're telling me that Justin's getting a backup quarterback money deal, that Russ is taking a backup quarterback money deal, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to go spend big bucks somewhere else to go get who? Aaron Rodgers? Is that who they're putting in front of either one of these guys? Tyrod Taylor? They're bringing Ryan Tannehill back to be this year's Cordero Patterson / Michael Pruitt? Like, what is the thought process here? I just don't think that it's you're going to get Jalen Milroe. You drafting somebody explain it to me. Someone explain to me who the starting quarterback is of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're signing one of the 4 options on the available market to be a backup for this season. I mean, Kyle Allen's out there. I get it, but I don't think the Steelers are as high on Kyle Allen as the rest of us are. I just don't think that's how why? How did we get here? How did we get here?
Yeah, you covered pretty much everything I was going to say. The first word that came to mind whenever I heard that, I literally let out an audible, who? Like, I felt like an owl. I was like, who are they backing up to? And when is that player coming? Because, as you mentioned, Justin Fields and or Russell Wilson, whoever comes back, would have had to have already signed their contract by the time this other quarterback comes to town. Because neither of them want to be a backup in 2025. Russ sure as hell doesn't. And Justin Fields just did that this season when I think everybody in the world knew that by week 17, he should have been starting over Russell Wilson. He doesn't want to go into the same situation next year. Certainly doesn't want to do that with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the same situation next year. He wants to be a starting quarterback. It's year 5 for him in the NFL. He had that reset. This was his redshirt year. Next year, he wants to play. So, yeah, I agree. The same exact things that I heard there. Like, unless Mike Tomlin beats Brian Callahan so bad in a game of poker in Mobile, Alabama, and Callahan has to just dish out the number 1 overall pick this year, the Steelers aren't going to find somebody else to start ahead of Justin and Russ while one of those two remains in the city of Pittsburgh. It is not feasible. And I understand. There's a reason Mike Florio is where he's at. He's good at his job, but sometimes the takes are just too far out of left field and too far out of the realm of possibility for anybody to take it seriously.
I think at some point during this, we should collect a top 10 wildest Mike Florio takes about the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I think that the list would be awesome. I think if we took an afternoon and sat down, we would have a great time coming up with top 10 wildest Mike Florio Pittsburgh Steelers. How many of those are Mike Tomlin's going to LA and Washington? Yeah, or LA, dude, because his wife does fashion and she wants to be in LA. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Thanks, pal. And he's from Washington 30 years ago, and I have a feeling he's got enough money to make sure that his mom and whoever else is still around can come visit in Pittsburgh. I'm pretty positive that he's got the funds to afford some flights. Yeah, wild times. We're early It's January 29th. I get it. January is the longest month of the year, and it takes 10 years to get through the first month of a year. But we have a very clear winner for wildest take of 2025. Very clear winner of wildest, maybe worst take of 2025. Worst insight by far, by a mile. I don't think that one's going to get passed off. Shout out. No, for everybody talking about it, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields will not be backup quarterbacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers.